What's good, everyone? I went ahead and got clipped this. I'm gonna get the original source and put it on YouTube. I'm the original source of where I got the video. I'm gonna put the link down in the description below. Like I said, this came out too late for me to even comment on this, so yeah. Anyway, let's see what's going on here. This is apparently the last ending I haven't got. I don't know why it was blocked off, but my guess is that that part I unlocked either caused a landslide or the mimic entering the place just okay, so that's what okay, I saw what it looked like in game theory. Now I know what it looks like. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's weird. This is a weird bit here. Especially if we involve the mimic around here. Because I don't know what's going on here. That could have been Gregory talking to us, but it's hard to say. When we get to the elevator, I don't know, there's like a tone shift. I might be wrong, but it's just a bit too weird. I can't say what really is going on here, or what could be the case or problem. I don't know. But what I can say for certain, and do follow me on this, is that Gregory did contact us while Roxy was fighting the mix. No, not mix. The mimic. I don't know why I got those two mixed up. They're two different entities. But yeah. That was definitely Gregory talking to us, because otherwise it would have said something while we were running. So this is a bit of a strange thing. Though, now here's my theory on what's going on here. Now, I keep hearing people mention that this is months, maybe even a year or two ahead after the whole security breach. And I don't know what to say about this one. Because it honestly doesn't make sense. Unless something happened in between. But that also doesn't make sense either. My guess is something happened around the time that everything went down. And it caused the whole Pizzaplex to collapse on itself. And that's the only thing I can really say on the matter. Because it's obvious that the Princess Quest won thanks to the fact that everything so far is just leaning to that. Which is honestly kind of weird. Because this would mean that Gregory would have to defeat Roxy, Monty, and Chica. And depending how you do things, you can take down just 2 animatronics and be done with it. Heck, you don't even need to fight Chica like I did myself. I didn't fight Chica. I just skipped her boss fight and just went into the whole Vanny fight. And that's it. But let's say for sure that Gregory did fight Chica. He did destroy her and took her voice box. He did take it and implant it into Freddy. He went and fought Vanessa and did the whole Princess Quest ending. Okay, but there's complications to this because Freddy's body was left into this one specific spot. Crushed under rubble and all that. That's what we understand, right? Well, it was on top of stuff, so unless Freddy magically went to the second floor, or the more reasonable option, if it is that case, the whole Phaser Blaster actually fell a floor or 2 down, and just like Freddy's body was just flew around and all that, but still, this leads to some problems. Because the animatronics can't be active unless they're into one of their capsule things to charge their battery. I don't know about Sun and Moon, but the other animatronics really need it just to power themselves up. Because Chica went down after not having power for her body. Weirdest thing I had to phrase, but that's the truth. Chica couldn't do anything because of this single fact. So, how are they active? It can't just be that simple. That's the very single problem. The party that probably was there before Gregory went to Freddy was potentially Cassie's. And we're talking about a girl that was at a young age, maybe 11, maybe 10 years old. And people are saying like it's been 3, 5 years. Yeah, I don't really believe that because otherwise Cassie would be more of a teenager than her still kid self. I mean, from what the images we saw, Cassie didn't change all that much. She didn't grow a lot because obviously if she should have grown, even if it was small and subtle. And if I am wrong about her age and she's like 8 and she was 8 at the time when she actually went and had her party, it still wouldn't make sense because her growth is supposed to be a bit more noticeable. And despite all this, no one noticed that Gregory actually didn't age all that much. So, no, I don't believe that this is like 3 or 4 or 5 years. Maybe 1 or 2 at the most. And it barely. But that still would lead the problem of how no one really noticed this. That's why I'm saying this is like a few months ahead, but even then, that's a problem. Because all the animatronics needs to be powered on and in their charging stations for a bit, and then their battery will last for an hour. Unless, their daytime thing is longer and they have even more power than necessary. But even then, they're not supposed to be that far out. And I haven't seen any charging stations that just like give some power. They all looked either busted up or something else. So unless there's a secret one, or they come down to the one where Afton was, I don't see how they could like survive. Because from the looks of it, they've been powered on for a very, very long time, and they have no way of truly escaping the Pizzaplex. Not that, like, they would leave, considering the fact that if they did, they wouldn't last too long, because their power banks are just die before they can even do something. And again, this leads to the problem. How is this possible? So, what I'm thinking is, these events are an after. The FNAF Help Wanted 2 is the prequel to Ruin, and the sequel to Security Breach. This event probably happened the second Vanessa and Gregory left the Pizzaplex. Maybe Vanessa called and said that stuff happened and the animatronics got busted up due to some faulty stuff, and people went in and bam, whoever Help Wanted is, well, Help Wanted 2 is, they had to go to this specific place just to do it. And in doing so, it led to the destruction of the Pizzaplex. That is my theory on what we're going to get. Now, judging by everything else, it has to be someone of high authority to go here. So probably some high-class maintenance or someone who knows their way around all the animatronics. Because from it looks like we're talking about a single character. Now, originally, when I first saw the trailer, it was be the CEO or the head honcho of the whole corporation. Now, I'm not too sure. For a second, I actually thought that game would be like a sequel to this. Because Gregory going somewhere would be going there to take care of all the animatronics that could potentially cause a problem. But that doesn't make sense either. Because that game and this game are supposed to tie together to explain everything. So that's what I'm thinking. I might be wrong on this. I might not be, but this is my theory. The events of what happened here in Ruin are the cause of Help Wanted 2. I don't think this game is like a few years ahead, because that wouldn't make sense. But whatever happened in Help Wanted 2 led to the Mimic actually having a signal to actually contact Cassie. And here's the thing that always bugs me. How was it possible for the Mimic to actually have Gregory's voice? It's impossible. Unless for two reasons. In Help Wanted 2, we do get to play as Gregory. And the story that the Candy Cadet says is about him and Vanessa going there to take care of whatever's there. But Vanessa knows about the Mimic and decides to keep it locked up so that when they're done doing what they're doing, they destroy the place. But Gregory got tricked by the Mimic, and it copied Vanessa's voice and tricked him into releasing it, to where we are going to have to deal with both of them. It learned Gregory's voice, and anything Gregory knows and all of his connections with people, and pick the best one to influence to free it after they seal it away. That's theory 1. Theory 2 sounds a bit more possible. Now, we all know by now, with all the evidence given, that Gregory is a robot. Yeah, let's be honest, Gregory is probably a robot. Now, my case here is that when Gregory was learning and all this and all that, the Mimic somehow learned Gregory's voice and was keeping an eye on security. Now, here's the thing that will probably be confusing. That wouldn't make sense, because how would they know each other? Well, I kept thinking about this, and it kept being stuck in my mind, and here's what I came up with. The Faz Watch. If you remember in Security Breach, when Vanessa has Freddy in that repair station, she comments that there was a communication line to the fast watch that Gregory has, and she caught whiff of it. Now, what I'm thinking is, if the server of the whole place is connected all together, then the mimic could have also heard it because it's right by the system itself. So it learned Gregory's vocal patterns. It looked through a history of the cameras and all that, and learned about Cassie. And since Cassie sees Gregory as her greatest friend, she'll go above and beyond just to save him. And that's how this happened. So, yeah. Theory 1 is that in Hellpoint 2, it's Gregory and Vanessa who has to face the mimic and steal it away, and it learns everything, which leads to ruin, or possibly 2, while Gregory is fighting for his life in the Pizzaplex, it's possible that the day after, or the day, or around the time of, someone else is going down into Hellpoint 2, and they had to seal off the mimic. But before they did so, it learned everything about Gregory. And it copied his voice and was coming up with a plan to get Cassie to free itself. Now, there's 2 things to know about this mimic. One, we don't really know what it's about. With its design and all that, I'm tempted to say it's the mimic for William Afton, because the Afton ending does technically exist, but everything's not Scorch. So that might be William Afton's mimic, and it's just doing stuff William Afton would do in a mimic version. And this is a terrible idea to make a mimic copy William Afton, because basically the mimic would think and behave like what William Afton would do in certain situations. If it means copying someone's voice, it's going to do it. If it's to be silent, it's going to do it. And that's probably the case. The mimic is behaving this way and knows how to make a signal because it copied William Afton. And the dude's crazy enough to accomplish all this with no problem. The second thing to note is a bit of a crazy idea. I don't know if anyone would believe me, because as crazy as it is, it makes a bit of sense. At least in my opinion. You can comment if I'm wrong or not, or provide me proof to tell me otherwise, but what I think is, and this is going to be crazy, Gregory is a mimic robot. Now, hold your horses and let me explain. When it comes down to Gregory being a robot, that's like a normal thing now. But the thing I'm always curious about was, what type of robot? Honestly, they use animatronic parts, but that doesn't really make sense. And the way Gregory acts and behaves, and if this is true, and the fact that Michael Afton is Glamrock Freddy, well, this leads to a certain case scenario. Because if, and this is a huge if Gregory was supposed to be modeled after the crying child, Evan Afton, then, and keep following me on this, what kind of robot would need to mimic Evan Afton to the perfect touch? And this is following the theory that Mrs. Afton is still alive and took over Fazbear and made it her own thing. She learned about the mimic technology and made a robot to copy and become Evan Afton. Now, what type of thing would try to learn stuff like this? What kind of animatronic would try to mimic the voice perfectly? What kind of animatronic would try to act and imitate the exact being it's supposed to copy? A mimic. But this mimic isn't designed to do all other things. It's only supposed to do one purpose. Become Evan Afton. And that's why I think Gregory is a mimic robot. Because it's trying to copy a human to the very single point that the mimic robot is the only animatronic to actually do this. Tell me what you think in the comment section below, because I believe this is the case, and yeah. This is what I believe. The mimic is William Afton's mimic copy, while Gregory is also a mimic supposed to copy Evan Afton. And then we had all my other theories in the beginning. So yeah, with all this said, hope you all enjoyed this video. We got through Security Breach, we went through the DLC, I got all the endings. This was the biggest thing I had to do in a long time. The only thing that was as crazy as this was, that time I did New Year's and was doing multiple, FNAF games at once. May have passed FNAF 1, couldn't make it past FNAF 2. It was just too long, and I got exhausted at midnight. I only made it past night 1, so that's a thing. But yeah. Crazy time. Yeah. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button to support the channels. And hit the notification button to be notified immediately when the video comes out. Tell me what you think about these theories in the comment section below. Tell me what your theories are about this whole ruined situation, where you think it fits in the timeline and all this and all that. And finally, again, I'll leave the link to the video I got this clip from in the description below. Thank you. Bandin for the clip. I honestly picked the first clip that was showing on results, and I just did this. Okay, so give Bandin some love and support for the video they gave me. That I'm using. Just give them some love and support, because they went through all this work just to do all this, and kudos to them. They're pretty great, because they got all the endings, something I didn't even accomplish. I don't think I was even supposed to do it this way. Well, that sucks when I realized when I put this all together in my head. Anyway, yeah. With this said, we are now leaving FNAF Ruin. And the next FNAF event to come up is in 1 month and 17 days. That's right. The FNAF movie is coming up in there on, as you all know, October 27th. We have 1 month and 17 days. I'm going to try to come up with something for Halloween for the month of October, because I'm thinking of pausing everything just to get through a game series or two. I don't know for sure. I might be doing Resident Evil or something else. I don't know. That's a bit of a maybe. I might put it up to a vote and put it on polls for the community. And yeah. Anyway, next week is going to be something different. You're going to be a bit surprised. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. And you should definitely hit the notification button now that I mention it. So yeah, with all this said, hope you'll enjoy. And with this, we could say goodbye for real to FNAF, Security Breach, and Ruin. So, goodbye, FNAF. We will see you in the movies and in Help Wanted 2. So yes, with this said, I put a close to FNAF, Security Breach, and Ruin. So I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!